Hello and welcome to the Exploring AI Tools with Dr. Finney, an initiative by the Holistic Medic series. Today we'll be having our first episode on the 12-week series on training on AI tools. If today is the first time you are seeing us on this YouTube channel, I think it would do you a great deed if you'd subscribe to this channel and then click on the bell so you get notified anytime any of our videos go live. Right. So today we would be taking our first lesson, which is foundation of text prompting. Yes, foundation of text prompting. It is the most basic and most important aspect of your interactions with AI tools. And so without wasting much time, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I will just take you through what goes into a proper text prompt, right? So just going to share my screen now. Great. All right. So basically, one thing we have to recognize is that in as much as AI tools are powerful, AI is smart, AI is able to do so many amazing things. AI is not a mind reader. Okay, AI does not have the ability to know intuitively what you are thinking about, what you are imagining, what idea you have, unless you communicate it to the AI tool. And so it's important to know how to do this communication because the AI would more or less produce exactly what you communicate to it. And so that is what you would have to learn to master so that your communication is crisp and the kind of response that the AI tool gives you is even more refined. So basically, when we say a prompt is that set of instruction or that communication you give to an AI tool and for the AI tool to work on and then give you a response. All right. And the better your prompt, the more accurate your response from the AI tool, the more refined the response from the AI tool. But a prompt is not just about typing anything. And so today we are going to learn about what makes a good prompt, what are the components of a good prompt, what is the foundation of all of this so that anytime you get and lay your hands on some AI tools, you make the most out of it by way of giving it a very good prompt. Right. So the first component we are going to talk about today is the instruction. The instruction, which is a task at hand. Now, basically, the instruction is what you want the AI tool to do. All right. It's just that simple. What exactly do you want the AI tool to do? For example, you may ask an AI tool to simplify a statement for you. You may want the AI tool to maybe generate an image or answer a specific question or create a list. Whatever it is that you want the AI tool to do for you, that is the instruction. All right. So for the purpose of today's discussion and hands-on training, I'm going to employ two common and well-known large language models, ChatGPT and then DeepSeek. Okay. And we are going to be using them side by side so that you see how this component of prompts come into play when you are using them in AI tools. So I'm just going to go into a tab. For those of you who have never used ChatGPT before, I just open any tab on your browser, just tap chatgpt.com, and it will just literally come back. I have logged in before, and that is why it's welcoming me and asking if I want to log in or sign up. But basically, if you have never logged in before, ChatGPT usually comes like this. Let me open an interface that will give you something even more refined, and let's do chat GPT. Okay, so if you've never had any interaction with ChatGPT, this is how it's going to appear. And then you can just choose the first one, which says www.chatgpt.com. Once you click on it, it's going to bring you that same interface I had before. All right, so I'm just going to log out of this and go back into the other one. So this is the interface of ChatGPT. Um, Basically, if you don't have any accounts, you're going to have this login and sign up. The difference between having an account with ChatGPT and using it online is that if you use it online, every sort of conversation you have is not saved, and so it can be lost. Okay, you can never go back to trace the kind of conversation you had with the AI tool. But if you sign up, you would have your chats saved. And so I'm basically going to show you how to sign up. And this method of signing up works for almost every AI tool we are going to be discussing in the next couple of weeks. Um, so if you don't have an account, you would sign up. If you do have an account, you just have to log in. So I'm going to do both of them. I have an account, so I'll log in later on. But if you don't have an account, you just click on the sign up. And then, so it says create an account. But like I said, you would need a Gmail account for this course. And so what you will do anytime you're signing up for any AI tool is to continue with Google. Okay. As you continue with Google, it's going to come up with all the emails you have. So this is my official email, this is my secondary email, and this is the email I created for um, my AI tools and exploring of AIs. Okay, but already have an account, so I am not going to click on this one. But supposing you are signing in, all your Gmail accounts will be here, and then you would just need to click on one of them, or the specific one you are using for your AI exploration. So you can just click on this, it would load. Then at this point, it's going to ask you to give it like permission to share your details with the app. Once you click continue, you're going to be just signed in and it'll open. I have an account, so I'm not going to go here. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go back, trace my way back, and rather log in instead of sign up. So I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. And this is my account, so I'll just log in. Yep, right. So you see all the previous chats I've ever had with ChatGPT are here on my left. And yeah, so basically when you open it up, this is how it is. So let's go back to the components of the prompt we're talking about. So instruction, I could ask ChatGPT to, okay, let's say generate a list of the top rich men in Ghana. All right. Now, one thing I could do to enable ChatGPT give me more refined answers is to click on this search. So it's going to search the web if I toggle this on. And this is to reason, to make ChatGPT not just give me a response, but think through the response before giving it to me. So we're going to click on this and then ask it to do it. So we're going to search the web, looking at which men are the top rich men. So here you go. Charles Ampofo, I've not heard of him before. Okay, I know Adokufo, Sam Jonah, and there you have it. Oh, so His Excellency is also part. Right. Okay, that's right about it. So basically, what you want the AI tool to do is the instruction, and that is the first key component of your um, text prompt. Okay, right. Let's look at the next thing. The next thing is the context, which is the scene or the background surrounding your prompt. Okay, so the context provides a background or a setting around your prompt, and it's important when you give a prompt and you add the background to it, you will get a more refined response than if you just give um, a straight response, like a straight prompt. Sorry. Let's try this out. For example, if I ask this AI tool to generate motivational speech. Okay, it's okay. I still have the search the web there. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about that also so that we don't delay. Okay, so it's going to give me a nice motivational speech, which is generally non-specific. Okay, but imagine I ask the AI to generate a motivational speech for a student who has failed his exams and is considering quitting school. Okay. Now, so giving the AI tool, telling the AI tool that this instruction I'm giving to you is not just any instruction, but it is for a student that has failed the exams and is considering that aspect of it is the context. And you get a more refined response than just giving a general instruction. And so you see the kind of response that the AI tool is generating now. So it says, failure is not the end, my dear friend, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on. And see. So the context, it makes so much of a difference, so much of a difference when you add a context to the instruction. All right. Um, let's look at the next important aspect of a good prompt, which is examples. Examples. Um, if you want an AI tool to give you a very detailed and specific response, you would it will do you so much good if you add examples to your prompts. For example, yeah, for example, if we ask an AI okay, to provide a list of rich and affluent men, okay, similar to Forbes list, okay, but focused on individuals who are African and involved in oil and gas industry. The example we are talking about is the similar to Forbes list. So we are telling AI to that the way we want you to generate this information is to make it look like Forbes list. So we are using Forbes list as an example. Okay. So once you give the AI to an example to follow, it makes it like a benchmark. Okay, a standard that the AI tool is going to compare its response to, and it gives you a finer, more detailed response. Okay, okay. Let's just try something on DeepSeek. DeepSeek. So I have never logged in into DeepSeek. So I'm just going to log in now. I am a human. So I'm just going to use my account to sign in. All right. So let's say generate a list of rich and affluent men similar to the Forbes lists, but focused on an African men who are into oil and gas. Okay. We'll just ask to search the web and boom. So yes, you get your responses. You're going to see that the way it's going to generate a response is going to be similar to how Forbes list is going to generate a response or how Forbes list is structured. So example sort of sets a standard, a guide for the AI tool to follow and not just generate anything that will not be related to what you want. Okay. Now the next aspect, the fourth aspect of a good prompt is a rule. It's a rule. Basically, what we mean by rule is that you could instruct the AI to pick up a specific rule, all right, that will match the need of your prompts. For example, you could ask the AI to act as an expert or as a consultant or as a friend. Okay. So you sort of give the AI to a persona to play. kind of mask to have on and play. So let's try something. For example, I have a very wonderful prompt here. So let's just look at it. Maybe we'll just copy it and then see how. So let's say, as an expert relationship and marriage coach, what advice do you give to a husband who is suffering from domestic abuse but is afraid to open up for fear of being stigmatized? Yeah. So let me just copy that. I'll place the same prompt in chat and DeepSeek. Let's just see how it comes up. All right. So yeah, let's see how DeepSeek will also generate this. So it goes on and on and on. Acknowledge the abuse, validate your feelings, break the silence safely. Okay, so someone says acknowledge your reality, prioritize your safety, find a trusted ally. So basically, whatever sort of role you give the AI tool, the AI tool is going to pretend and then take on that role and give you more refined responses. And I use this a lot. I use this very, very a lot in my use of AI tools. Okay, so that's it. The role. The next important aspect is the tone of your prompt. The tone basically tells the AI to how it should sound when it's communicating a response, which is very important so that it matches the kind of sentiment of the interaction you want to have. For example, you could ask the AI to sound very formal or very cheerful or bland or neutral. Okay, very important. For example, if you needed to get a letter to your boss at work, who you have a very formal relationship with, it's important to state it. Okay, if the letter or the intended audience for your prompt is your friend who you are very free with, then telling the AI tool to be friendly in its response would tailor the response to the audience better. Okay, so the tone is very critical if you are giving a prompt. Okay, so for example, if I was handing out an invitation card, a birthday invitation card to my boss, I could just tell the AI to generate a birthday. Let me just make it a formal birthday invitation card. All right. And it goes on and on and on. And this is how it's going to do it. Right. Alternatively, I could ask it to provide a cheerful and exciting birthday invites card. You see, everything changes. Now there is the addition of emojis and words are not so formal and all of that. Okay, so just by instructing and telling the AI tool about the kind of tone you want, it changes the outlook a lot. Okay, this is quite detailed. All right. Okay. Now the next aspect of your prompt is the intended audience. Okay, telling the AI tool whom you expect the response to reach is very important. Okay, and it tells the AI tool how deep it should go in terms of complexity. For example, if I was asking the AI tool to say, for example, in this case, explain photosynthesis to university students, that audience is different from explaining photosynthesis to maybe high school students or elementary school students. So telling the AI to the intended audience, I mean, it instructs the AI to the depth of information it should give, how simplified it should be. It can even tell the AI to what kind of tone to assume because of the intended audience in mind. And that's a very critical aspect to have when you are prompting in AI tools. So, for example, let's just do something here on ChatGPT. Let's say explain osmosis to a class of 5-year olds using world. Okay, let's just do that. 5-year olds, right? So you see how it goes. Hey kids, let's imagine something fun. Have you ever had a sponge? And then let's ask it to explain osmosis to a class of university students. Now everything changes, and now everything becomes so serious and formal. All right. So you now just says that osmosis is a fundamental concept in biology, as against have you ever had a sponge? So you see, just by telling the AI to what kind of audience is expecting the response or the response is intended for, it changes everything. Okay, it changes everything. Now, the final aspect of a text prompt is the output format. Okay, the output format is essentially telling the AI to how to present the response. In what way should it structure the response? Should it be in a table? Should it be bulleted? Should it be a graph? Should it be whatever? Okay, should it be a list? Okay, so that is the kind of response. So I could, for example, say provide a list of the most lucrative businesses in Ghana currently, together with their job requirements and expected range of remuneration. Okay. And then I'll just say, please respond in a tabular format. Okay. So that's it. It's going to do this in a tabular format. So you can see oil and gas, the job rules, the key requirement, the expected range, and it's just going to provide that. Okay. And compare that to the same prompts. At this time, I'm going to say respond in a bullets format. So it's going to search the web a bit to be more accurate. And then look at this. So based on how I want my output or my response to be, I could just tell the AI tool to give it as such. Okay. Right. And it will just go on and do it that way compared to DeepSeek's instruction of providing it in a table. Okay. So basically, anytime you want to make a text prompt, you should look at how you feature all these components into the text prompt, because we see that if you give the text prompt a context, if you give it a tone, if you give it an intended audience, if you tell it the output format, I mean, it tailors the response so that it fits your need better. All right. And that is what we are going to learn today. And so combining all these components ensures that your prompts are effective and your responses are closer to what you need them for. Right. So takeaways from this lesson is that if you want to get clarity, if you want to get specific responses, it goes beyond just giving an instruction. Your instruction should have some context to it. Your instruction should have some tone to it. It should have some examples if it is. And your instruction should bear in mind any intended audience. It should also bear in mind what kind of structure or format you want the response to be in. Right. One last thing I'm just going to add some sort of a bonus is what is called zero shot, zero shot prompting and few shot prompting. So basically, anytime we ask any of these large language models, ChatGPT or DeepSeek, to provide an answer or a response, it provides a response from its pool of knowledge that it was built with. Okay, so the app, let's say for example, DeepSeek, in building of the app, they pulled together so much knowledge and built it up. So anytime you ask question, it will go into that pool of knowledge and then bring out a response. Okay, so if you just ask it, if you just ask the AI tool to provide you an answer without giving any sort of example or guidance or a way you should respond. That is what is called a zero shot prompting. Shot as in SHOT, zero shot prompting. So what we've done so far today, most of which has been zero shot prompting. But sometimes you could instruct the AI to respond in a specific way that you want your responses to take on. For example, let's just try this thing. Rephrase certain common phenomena. For example, twilights. Or let me say morning. Let me say the sun, the big fiery orb arose from its slumber. Twilights. So I'm going to ask it to be poetic and then give me okay. So you see what I just did? I gave the AI tool a way to respond. So instead of saying morning, it should be poetic and look at it as the sun arising from its slumber. All right. If that's the case, if that is the way to think, then how would twilight be? And then it goes on to say, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the world in whispers of gold and violet. You see, so what I've done is I've given the AI some few shots. I'm giving it some tidbits on how to respond, on how to think, on how to process the information, and then give me a particular response in a tailored way. This helps when you would have a specific way you speak or a specific way you would communicate to your audience. All right. So that is just, by the way, that's just some sort of bonus to come through. The key thing for today's lesson is about the foundation of text prompting. Basically, whatever goes into making your prompt a good and effective one. We've said that there's an instruction, there is a context, there is the tone, there is the audience, there is their outputs, their examples, all right? And all of this put together, used constructively, would help produce an effective and a very good prompt. Great. That is all we have for today. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat box. I would respond to them. Alternatively, you could share them in the on the WhatsApp pages. And what is going to happen is I'm going to leave an assignment on the Google Classroom just for you to demonstrate that you have understood what has been taught for today. If you have any questions or any suggestions, just let me know, and I'll do well to get back to you. Great. So, thank you all for coming through and passing through for episode one. I look forward to seeing you on episode two, where we are going to be looking at how to make good prompts for images. If you want to generate an image, what kind of prompts should you make? And then how to generate hyper realistic images. Right. So, till then, stay curious, keep exploring, and bye for now.